celebrated time of the year. It's spring just around the corner, but already the weather's so nice. So it's a perfect time to visit the Texas Wine Trail. Heath Sparkling Wines chef Ivan Knapp is here to tell us all about their new food and wine pairing menu, and we're happy to have him in the studio. Chef, good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Let's talk about your inspo for this menu, because it's really fun. You flip things on their head.
Yeah. I decided let's have a dinner party. But we're adults, we're gonna have dessert first. So
yes.
We're gonna start off with a little cake, we're gonna go into hummus, we're gonna do some almonds, and then a caprese cheesecake. Kind of flipping the order here today.
Okay, so cheesecake still happens at the end, but it actually goes savory.
Absolutely.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And you've given me an adorable baby fork, so I'm gonna dig in.
Absolutely.
And while I do that, why don't you explain to me a little bit about this cake and the first tasting we're doing?
This is Porto Calopita. So this is a Greek cake that is typically very citrus driven. But what we did here route-wise, we went more tropical and went pineapple and coconut with
thumbs up.
Cherry cajeta, actually. And it goes really well with this 2021 Blanc de Blanc.
Oh, it does. Actually, because the wine's not quite so sweet.
Yeah.
And you get all that sweetness and all that tropical fruit coming from the cake. Really balanced as well.
And the way it pops the citrus there on the finish.
Yeah,
Absolutely beautiful.
Gorge. Okay.
Yeah.
Not like I wasn't already invested, but I'm loving this.
Heck
Okay.
yeah.
So the next thing we're doing, I love your little crackers. They've got an H for Heath Sparkling Wines.
That it does. And believe it or not, that is just chicken and potato starch and seasonings. It's less
Look at how cute.
ingredients than those wild brand chips there at HEB. So,
oh my goodness.
And it's paired with a harissa yogurt and a carrot hummus. And what it does to the euphoria is a little floral and very stone fruit driven. And what it does is it makes some of those things pop. The bubbles get a little louder for me.
Wow.
The wine gets a little drier. And I kind of like that simple beauty makes it really an elegant wine.
I need to sit next to you when things are being described, because when you say it, I'm like, you're right. The bubbles do feel louder, and it's such a difference. I mean, I know we're talking about sparkling wines, but this wine is so different than the last one I just had, and it pairs so well together.
Absolutely. And not only is it great with a hummus, there's a little bit of heat in that harissa, so anything spicy you do will kill it with that guy.
All right. So the next thing we're talking about is something that you guys are actually known for,
Yes,
and it's
we
your
are.
herbed almonds. People come clamoring.
Absolutely, yeah. We actually have a club that focuses on those almonds. So if you're ever a member with us at any of our brands, you have the ability to add a bag on to your allocation. Oh. And what we've done here today is with the ebullience, this Pinot Grigio done Ramato style.
What's Ramato style?
So we take a white grape, we crush it and leave it on its skin. And that skin contact with the juice is what the Italians call Ramato, meaning copper in Italian.
I knew I was going to learn a lot from you today.
A little bubbling education, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so you've got 3 different almonds. You've got the original ones covered in herbes de Provence, olive oil, and salt. And then those same almonds coated in chocolate and powdered sugar. We've basically closed the loop on your childhood. Remember puppy chow?
Of course.
So,
It's
yeah.
actually, do you know it's actually one of the top recipes that I bring to things?
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got like a recipe down. It's like 5 ingredients. It knocks people out every single time. So
right.
puppy chow, I'm here
You
for.
can elevate and close the loop on that childhood. And then we've taken those same herbed almonds and coated them in a nutritional yeast mix to get that kind of dairy-free profile. So I think it's really beautiful wine that goes great with a lot of cheese boards, smoked meats, and creamy pastas. And what better way than to have 3 different almonds to pair at your discretion.
Talk to me about the flavors in this sparkling wine that I'm just having, because the way it goes so well with savory elements, I'm like really impressed by.
Citrus it takes over, and I think it marries really beautiful with anything savory. What it does is it makes the wine a little brighter. That one tends to be a little louder, and I can always get most of my friends that don't drink wine into sparkling with this guy here.
Ebullience.
Yeah, it means cheerful.
Cheerful.
Yeah,
okay.
because by the 3rd glass.
Now it's becoming like a terminology lesson, everybody. We're learning a lot today.
And if you don't feel cheerful by the 3rd one, have the 4th, okay? And if the 4th one doesn't do it, please go to bed.
Go to bed. We've got an entire prescribed list of things that you should get up to. All right, so I'm so interested by this, the caprese cheesecake. So what you've just poured for me, this is looking a little bit more pink.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a Pinot Noir Rosé. This is Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, Pinot Grigio, and Pinot Gris make up this blend. It's really red fruit heavy, like strawberry, pomegranate, and cranberry. It's beautiful in the holiday season. It's great with a cut of red meat or a pork chop, but I'm a sweet person. I love my sweets and desserts. So I decided to marry sweet and savory and take a balsamic cheesecake.
Look at
and then the
this.
pearls on top are the basil and tomato.
That is so cool.
you're
Look
getting,
at that. I mean, that honestly looks like it could be sushi. Do you know
almost,
what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, look at how gorgeous that is. Like, you've done a little gastronomy there. Like
a little bit,
yeah. By making into pearls and things like that.
Absolutely, and it was a fun way to keep something shelf stable, but also kind of play with the mind a little bit. And the crust is gluten-free. It's sweet, it's savory, but what it does to the wine is it keeps it true to itself. It makes those notes I was talking about earlier, if anything, pop a little louder.
Okay, that is one way to end a taste. That was gorgeous.
Appreciate it.
Everything is absolutely delicious, but to be kind of like fooled by your senses with the cheesecake at the end, really fun.
Set up for something else mentally, and I love how it takes a left turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Really cool stuff. Okay, so talk to me about how long people have to enjoy this tasting. I actually booked you a couple weeks ago. We weren't able to get you in on time. I was supposed to be one of the first people to try this.
I know, and you've given us plenty of time to get it hammered out.
All right, I'm happy to hear that. But how long do people have?
Till May. And then I'll go into our summer menu, which I'm already pretty much ready to rock and roll with as well. So
you are
very
working.
For that. Oh yeah.
And then not only that, but you did make a mention of membership. So I want to make sure that we touch on that, because Heath Sparkling Wines is in itself something that you can be a member of.
Yes, ma'am.
But then also you guys have a family of brands.
Yes. So you have the ability as a member of Heath Sparkling to have access to Grape Creek, Invention, Coleman, and your discount crosses those brands. And membership is open-ended, and as long as you love having beautiful wines show up to your house, we can ship them right to your door or to a Walgreens.
And there's, I know because my brother and sister-in-law are Grape Creek members, they go and pick up very often, and that's maybe a good idea for a Texas summer, right?
Absolutely. Bubbles will help you out through the entire summer. Our final allocation for sparkling hits in May, and gives you 6 weeks to come to any of the properties to pick them up. And at that time, utilize the restaurant or any of the patios, people watch, drink some good wine, and eat some good food.
Oh, you know how to sell a good time.
It's the bubbles do it themselves.
All right, Chef. Thank you so much for your time and delicious setup. I loved it.
Appreciate it. I'm glad you loved it.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here.
Guys, learn more about Heath Family Brands at heathsparklingwines.com. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Rosedale Acupuncture and Wellness. Chronic pain can affect mobility as well as daily activities. Rosedale Acupuncture and Wellness wants to help. Dr. Lucas Brown is here to tell us more today. So Dr. Brown, what kind of chronic pain patients do you see? It's usually not just one complaint.
Absolutely. I mean, we get a whole gamut of people coming in with all sorts of different diagnoses. And truthfully, it's not really that diagnosis that brings them in. It's more just the limitation to their daily activities, you know, not being able to get on the floor with their grandkids anymore, you know, not being able to ride a bike, climb a ladder, you know, not being able to take vacation that they want to take, or just even walk around the block. You know, it's different for each person.
And speaking of chronic pain, we're going to hear from one of your patients, Robin, about her journey. Let's go ahead and take a look.
I've been dealing with my current pain since really before I had surgery, where I had loss of feeling of my feet and my legs. I had tried acupuncture before with kind of mixed results. After coming to Rosedale, I've regained that ability of mobility. It's opened my opportunity to go back to doing swimming easier, faster, but also biking, which I hadn't been able to do before. It's not like I do big, long walks, but I work and I'm on my feet all day. My balance has improved 100%. I would definitely recommend Rosedale Acupuncture. It's a different approach than the usual acupuncture in the way the treatment is, the way that it's kind of, I'm going to say, organized, planned, and the approach. And I think that makes a big difference.
All right, how do you feel hearing, you know, about how Robin's progressed?
I mean, sadly, Robin's story is all too familiar to us. We hear that every day, but fortunately for Robin, we hear that every day. So before she came to us, she was in 8 out of 10 pain every day. Now she's at a 1. she was able to take a vacation with her husband where it was a bike riding vacation.
That's wonderful. Okay. And a comprehensive care plan. So if someone like Robin, maybe a similar story, but not exactly the same, comes through the door, you're going to treat each patient individually.
So absolutely. And in Robin's case too, she had tried all these different things. And we often deal with a lot of people's failures, whether it's failed back surgery or any of those other interventions that Robin mentioned that didn't work for her, even other acupuncturists. I think that's what sets us apart, is that we don't want to rely just on acupuncture. We take a more modern, cutting-edge approach.
Sounds good to me. Dr. Brown, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Set up a complimentary consultation today by calling 512-623-1996 or by going to rosedaleacuwell.com. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Rosedale Acupuncture and Wellness.
The Coca-Cola Sips and Sounds Music Festival is coming up on March 13th and 14th over at Auditorium Shores right here in Austin. And one of the incredible featured local acts, Caroline Hell, joins me now in studio. Good morning, Caroline. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so with musicians, I always love to know your origin story. Like, why did you want to do music, and why is this what you knew you would maybe do with your life?
Honestly, you should ask my parents. I decided I wanted to play guitar when I was 8 years old and never stopped. I mean, we were in the prime time for Disney Channel is what I tell a lot of people.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so I think that had a much bigger impact on me than I thought it did.
Who were some of your favorites?
I mean, Hannah Montana.
Of course.
Cheetah Girls, Camp Rock.
Yes. We really grew up in like the best era for that, I feel
Yeah,
like.
we
Okay, and
did.
sidebar, I have to ask, how are you feeling about the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary?
I'm so excited.
It's life-changing.
Like, I need to look into it more. I've just seen it like on social media
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be
Yeah.
incredible, obviously, but I need to learn more about it.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe this answer you kind of already gave me, but who would you say maybe are some of your earliest influences as far as music goes?
Oh gosh, I mean, I listened to a ton of Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
A ton of, pop music. I'm from San Antonio, so also a lot of country music, like the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah.
Casey Musgraves has
course,
always been a big
yes.
influence for me. A lot of 70s music, like Linda Ronstadt. Emmylou Harris,
Yeah.
some Sheryl Crow.
I love
It's
the
kinda-
just like blend
It's
of
kind of all
genres.
over the place, yeah.
I think it makes you a really like unique singer though in that way, having
Yeah.
that kind of mesh of influences. Now, as I understand, you did attend and graduate right here at UT here in Austin. So how would you say your time at UT really impacted your musicality and your songwriting skills?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was a rhetoric and writing major.
Okay.
And so that obviously kept me writing whether I liked it or not.
Yeah.
And I mean, I write all my songs off of, personal lived experiences. So it was really important for me to go out and live my life and test out new relationships and make new friends and, be a college girl.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the greatest pieces of advice I ever received was from someone who said, like, don't be scared to make something where you're at. Like, live out your dreams and, like, build up your career where you're at. And you've done a really good job of doing that right here in Texas. What has that meant to you to be able to kind of live out your dreams right here in the Austin and San Antonio areas?
I mean, I love it. It's home for me.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable, but it's also, Austin is always changing. It's always moving. And San Antonio is, a place of comfort for me, which is also amazing.
Yeah,
so
it's just you get to do what you love right here in your backyard. It's really
Exactly.
special. Yeah.
It is.
Now, the end of last fall, you released your latest single, Blame You. Tell me about writing and creating this one.
Oh, it was so much fun. I actually made that song off of a drum beat. And then,
Whoa.
and then it kind of progressed into what is now my latest single. But it's really just about trying to navigate the end of a relationship and how I'm feeling about it and how they might be feeling about it, and realizing that they're not the only ones to blame.
Right, a lot of relatable themes in there for a lot of people, I'm sure. Now, as mentioned, you're a part of the Sips and Sounds Festival coming up in a few weeks. You're night 2, one of the acts. So how excited are you to be a part of this, and what can we expect?
I'm so beyond excited and honored to have been asked to be a part of this.
Yeah.
I mean, the acts that are on this are just, people I've been listening to forever.
Yeah.
And to see my name on that lineup is pretty surreal. I would just expect to, come see a really fun full band show. We may or may not be playing a new song or two. We'll see.
Deep tease.
But yeah, my band is incredible. I brag on them every single chance I get. So if you hate me, just come see my band. They're incredible. They are great. I hope to, make some new fans and meet some new people, meet some new friends, and just do what this music thing is.
A great team makes all the difference. I'm lucky to work with a great team here, so I totally get that. Now, what else is on the horizon for this year? Maybe kind of beyond this festival in March.
I'm really focusing on putting out new music. I have 2 new songs that are basically done, and so now it's just about rolling them out at the right times. And I would hope to think that I have a full-length project on the horizon, not too far away.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds so exciting. Now, you've done so much in your kind of young career already, but what's like maybe the long-term goal for you? Where do you kind of hope all this hard work takes you?
Regardless if one person likes my music or if 20 people or if a million people like it, I am just so grateful to have an outlet for myself to really pour my thoughts into and my emotions into, and if it relates to other people and other people connect with it, I'm so grateful for that, and I hope that I'm given the opportunity to continue doing that.
For sure. And I always think like even if it just impacts one person, it was worth it.
Exactly.
Right?
It's kind of like when you post something on Instagram or TikTok and you're like, oh, this only got 1 like or 1 comment, and you're like, well, okay, you know what?
It impacted one person.
One person liked it.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Okay, well, speaking of Instagram, how can people keep up with you and your music?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Caroline Hale Music.
Okay.
I'm also on TikTok. I think the handle is also Caroline Hale Music, but I would fact check myself.
Yeah.
And I have a website, carolinehale.com. You can go on there and see all of my music and all of my upcoming shows. We play live a lot around Austin and in San Antonio as well, and hopefully make our way up to Houston and Fort Worth and Dallas and all those other Texas cities.
Yeah, plenty of ways to stay connected, it sounds like. Well, you guys, you can catch Caroline Hale on the Coca-Cola Sips and Sounds Festival stage on Saturday, March 14th, and keep up with her and her music on all social platforms.
The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Austin Telco Federal Credit Union. Low credit interest rates can make more space in your monthly budget. Pamela Cotton, Vice President of Member Services at Austin Telco Federal Credit Union, is here with some tips for us on reducing credit card interest. It's a really big thing right now because so many of us have been using credit cards because everything's more expensive.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let's talk about it. How would you explain credit card interest rates to someone who's maybe interested in getting started with credit?
Yeah, so credit card interest, if you look at it, it's basically the price that you pay to use the money that the credit card company is allowing to use to make those purchases. So basically, if you're borrowing $500 to utilize, if you don't pay it back immediately, then you're going to pay a little interest on it. And the rate would be dependent upon what that credit card company is offering to you at that time.
Let's talk about some strategies to lower credit card interest or reduce the amount you're paying on interest.
Yeah, so one option is to do a balance transfer. So maybe you have a credit card that has a higher interest rate, and then you find another one that has a lower interest rate. Take that balance, transfer it to that new card, then you start paying lower interest. It's going to allow you to pay it off paying less money. At Austin Telco, we have rates as low as 9.9 on your credit card, which is an amazing rate.
That actually is an amazing, I want to take a second here. That's an amazing rate because I have seen credit card interest rates go all the way up to like 33%. Some of them can be really painful.
Those you want to really stay away from. But yeah, so we do try to offer the best rates to our members. So based on that credit score, you can get as low as 9.9% on a credit card, which is amazing. So obviously, another strategy is to improve that credit score so that you can get that lower rate. Show that you're a low risk to that credit card company so that they give you that lower interest rate and you end up paying less over the term of that loan.
Any alternative solutions to manage credit card interest?
So let's say the lower credit card interest rate is not an option. Look at debt consolidation. You maybe got a little bit out of control, you have multiple credit cards, and those payments are kind of out of control, then do a debt consolidation loan where you can find, where you can get, if you have $10,000, get one loan that's going to allow you to manage that much better. You're going to have a fixed rate of interest. You're going to have one payment. It's definitely going to help you manage that debt and get you in a better position. You're not having to manage multiple companies, multiple payments. There's going to be one interest rate, and preferably lower than any of those credit cards that you had.
And I'm guessing ATFCU has some help there.
Yes, we do. Come and see us.
Okay, sounds good to me, Pam. Thank you.
Thank you.
To learn more about all of the services ATFCU has to offer, visit atfcu.org. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Austin Telco Federal Credit Union.
True crime fans, this one's for you. Hulu's brand new docuseries, Friends Like These, The Murder of Skylar Neese, is coming soon. And joining me now are former FBI agent Rob Ambrosini and director Claire Titley. Good morning. How are you both?
Good, thank you.
Good, thanks.
This is a really fascinating case in some of the research I was doing, but for people that are watching and are unfamiliar, can you provide a little bit of insight into what exactly this case is?
This is the case of Skylar Neese, who she was a 16-year-old who disappeared from her home in Morgantown, West Virginia in 2012. But it's, I mean, for me, it's really a series about the kind of intensity of kind of teenage friendships and how devastating it can be, I think, when those friendships start to break down.
You know, it's interesting you say teenage friendships, because I know that social media had a really big impact on this. And as a society, we're seeing how much social media can really amplify situations like this. The current case with Nancy Guthrie, I think, is a great example. So how true was that for this with Skylar Neese as well?
I think it was, immensely true. This was an era, 2012, that was quite unique, quite a unique era, moment in time when this is the first generation to kind of like really experiment with social media, and they were putting their entire lives out there. There was no precedent for them. There was no kind of hindsight that we have now. And at the same time, they were putting everything out there. The adults in their world really had no idea that this kind of existed. And it was, so you had all this, these feelings, these emotions, this evidence almost that was out there, but it was kind of hiding in plain sight. So things could escalate very, very, very quickly. And while they were there for all of that generation to see, the adults around them were relatively blind to it for quite a long time.
Yeah. Rob, I'm curious with you, within your investigative work and with just kind of what you've done in your career, how has the rise of the digital age impacted what you do? Because even now, we see with like TikTok specifically, people think they're investigators online and they throw out their conspiracies, which is, I think, really throws everything in a tailspin. So how has that affected what you all do?
Well, just looking at this case in particular, as Clara was mentioning, right, this is kind of the dawn of the social media age where you have these younger folks kind of, describing their whole life. It's a digital diary. They're just kind of pouring out. And sometimes you don't have the benefit of the fully developed frontal lobe, as it were, right, where you can filter some of these things. What should I put out there? What shouldn't I put out there, right? Fast forward to today, now we have a digital age where we have so many more applications. And unfortunately, there's a lot of opportunity for people who want to cause harm to younger individuals to now prey upon them on social media. And specifically, I'm talking about like nihilistic violent offenders, sadistic violent offenders, 764 groups, Harm Nation, places like that really try to encourage younger folks to engage in self-harm and send child pornographic pictures. So there is a big risk out there now, out there in the digital landscape. And, there's a lot of, offices, every field office in the FBI has task forces that are kind of working on that. But yeah, it's changed the way that we do cases.
I'm curious with that too. Do you feel there's any way in which maybe the social media of it all has positively impacted what you all do? Because I do feel like, in some ways there is good to it potentially.
Oh, no, sure. I think there's always kind of like this duality of it, right? You know,
Yeah.
you have a lot more connection. People can support each other digitally. We saw that through, of course, through COVID. People can, if they want to send in tips, they can kind of capture what they're seeing online and helping us. So yeah, I think it's responsible use, right? It's like anything, right? You want to use this tool that has emerged out there in a very responsible way. And I think we're still kind of growing through that and evolving with that.
Yeah, you both have very different kind of perspectives or lenses on this case. What's something that maybe has shocked the both of you?
I'm shocked. I think I was quite shocked. I think not having had social media myself when I was 16, I think I was quite shocked at how much people were using it. I think it's an age that I wasn't kind of connected with, that's available. And so I was shocked at how much people were putting out online. They weren't just putting out how they felt that day. They were putting out how much they felt that second, that minute, whatever it was. Literally, it was like verbal vomit, the amount that they were, putting out. And like diaries, I think they were almost like diaries. And because they didn't have this awareness, this hindsight of the fact that it was out there forever, they behaved on social media in a very, very different way to the way in which 16-year-olds today behave on social media. And that was something I think when I first started digging into it all kind of shocked me quite a bit.
Yeah, Rob, what would you say?
I think just from working on the case, ultimately when we found out the truth, it was really kind of taking a step back. And at the time, of course, I have three boys. My wife and I have three boys, and you're taking a step back and like, my goodness, this crime is horrific that these teens had done, and the thought that went into it, right? And why did they make this decision, and not go for other options? If you don't want to be a friend with someone, just stop being friends with them. And I think that always stayed with me, and it still has to this day.
Yeah, there's a relatability piece there, right? It's like we apply these cases to what we know, which is kind of daunting in some ways. Now, in closing here, you all, in what ways do you hope that viewers are impacted by this docuseries?
I hope that people come away from this kind of reflecting on their own kind of social media use. I think kind of like on what their kids are doing. I hope that they kind of also remember what it's like to be that age and how your brain is incredibly different and the lens which you see the world is very different indeed. But I also hope that they come away feeling like they know Skylar. She would have turned 30 just a couple of weeks ago, and so that's kind of quite a poignant milestone, I think. And I hope that through the way in which we've constructed and made this series, I hope that people feel that they know who she was and they remember her as she was.
Okay, well, I think that's a great way to close this. Thank you all both so much for your insight. Friends Like These, The Murder of Skylar Neese, coming to Hulu on March 6th. Thank you both. He's the man behind the creation of the Ghostface Killer and, of course, the Scream franchise. You guys, ahead of the Scream 7 release, I'm so excited to be speaking with director and creator Kevin Williamson. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I am good. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. So just kind of tell me, what's like the origin story of Scream? How did this all kind of begin for you? Where did maybe the influence come from?
Well, I wanted to originally, well, I wanted a job. I was so broke, and I was trying to also get my, kickstart my career. But I also love horror films. I've loved them since a kid. They were sort of my escape growing up in a small town. And we were in a rut in the 90s. All those wonderful slasher films of the 80s were over, and they weren't making horror movies anymore. So I sat down to write the movie I wanted to see. And I'm someone who has seen all the horror movies, so I know all the tricks, and I know, and all my friends had too. And I thought, what happens if we tell that story? Someone has seen who has seen all the movies. What do they do when they're up in one? And that's where we sort of came up with the premise of someone has taken their love of scary movies too far, and that was the tagline for the first film. And so we tried to keep that alive through seven installments.
Yes, 7 installments later. And I think it's interesting you say that too, because I love that idea of like, if it's not already out there, if someone hasn't made it, just do it yourself, right? Someone's got to start that. Now, it's interesting because you kind of teased this there a second ago, but if you look at your body of work, a lot of it kind of falls within either the horror or thriller or supernatural genres. So what fascinated about you then and what continues to fascinate it now? Because we're 20 years into the Scream franchise.
I don't know if I have a full answer for that because I think some of it is just my thing, but I don't know how horror became my happy place,
Mm.
but it was sort of, growing up as a kid in a small town and, I found an escape in that. I identified with the final girl, Jamie Lee Curtis was my hero. I felt like, as a kid growing up, you're always scared. You're always running from something. You're always hiding from something. And I was very much a final girl in my small town. So I connected to the horror genre, and I do love it. I love things that go bump in the night. I love to be scared. I still get scared. I'm a big scaredy cat. You don't want to sit next to me in the movie theater, and because I will jump. But it's just been it was my gateway drug into the business.
Yeah, I love the nuances of how that kind of ties back to maybe your own personal life. And I will say too, I'm also the jumpiest person ever. My wife laughs at me every time we're in the theater. So there's that. Now, what's it been like for you getting to work with some of the same actors film after film, like most notably Nev Campbell? And then of course there's been a lot of new faces incorporated along the way.
Oh yes, I mean we've been so fortunate to have a terrific cast through all of the films, and having Nev back, we're old friends. We've known each other since 30 years, and Courtney, I've also known her, and so it was like coming home again. And we got to bring some OGs back along with the new cast, and it was just a lot of fun. They're very fun to make these movies, and I don't
They're
know if
good at
people
doing
know.
it. How would you say the stakes are elevated in Scream 7?
Well, it's very personal this time. It's truly about family. It's about a mother and daughter who are trying to connect in a personal way because Sydney's a little shut down when it comes to her past, and her daughter, wants to know about it. And so it's her daughter doesn't have the information. Her daughter doesn't know what her mother went through personally. She doesn't know. She read all the books, she saw the stab movies, but she doesn't know what really happened. And so what happens when Ghostface comes calling to a daughter who's the exact same age she was when it all started? It really is a true mother and daughter story. And they're thrown into peril when a Ghostface does come calling. And it's just a very personal story. And it's also allows us to move the franchise forward.
Yeah, yeah, which I love. And speaking of moving the franchise forward, I'm curious, like I said, we're 20 years in. How many more Scream films do
30
you feel like
years
you have
in.
left in you?
30, we're 30 years in.
30 years in, my heavens. Okay, well, my math was way off when I checked. But, anyways, 30 years in, how many more do you feel like you have left in you?
Well, I think, it takes a village. So, I'm not an island. I have so many other people who now who with a love of this franchise that participate in it. We have, and so we have great writers and producers. And I think as if there's a call for this, if the audience continues to love the franchise and want another movie, we'll always make it.
Okay, you'll always make it. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for your time. For those watching, get your tickets now and check out Scream 7 in theaters everywhere.
The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Austin Face and Body. Joining us today is oculoplastic surgeon Dr. Sean Paul and plastic surgeon Dr. Chris Schneider from Austin Face and Body. They're sharing the latest on quantum RF treatments for skin tightening and face and body contouring. And so, Dr. Paul, we're going to come to you first. Quantum RF, what is it and what does it do for the face and the body?
Thanks for having us. Yeah, quantum RF is basically the newest, most innovative technology for skin tightening, and it's typically done as an adjunct to surgery or as a standalone treatment. Options we have are deep plain face and neck lifting, and then for patients that aren't quite ready for something as big as a full surgical procedure, quantum RF and other technologies like quantum RF in the same family, such as FaceTite or FaceTite Turbo, that's what we use to basically contour that skin.
Dr. Schneider, let's talk about what distinguishes quantum RF from traditional liposuction or other body contouring procedures.
Yeah, we're super excited to be able to offer Quantum RF in our practice now. It's part of the newest platform called Ignite RF from InMode. And so Quantum RF is different from liposuction because liposuction just removes that stubborn subcutaneous fat. It does nothing to tighten the skin. Quantum RF uses bipolar radio frequency to tighten the skin. And it may not replace some of those bigger excisional procedures like a tummy tuck, but it's a great option for patients where liposuction is not going to be enough to tighten the skin, and we can use that as an adjunct.
Good to know. Okay, what areas of the body can be treated with Quantum RF?
Great question. So they have two platforms, one specifically for the face and one for the body. So face, neck, jowls, the submentum, which is that stubborn area right under the chin, and then really any part on the body. We can get some incredibly impressive results for body contouring on the abdomen. A couple of my favorite places to use them though are the upper arms and the inner thighs, very stubborn areas where skin laxity is a major problem.
And speaking of skin laxity,
yes,
with the popularity of GLP-1s out there on the market, I know that people are losing weight, and that's maybe an exciting thing, something that they've looked forward to for a very long time, but especially losing weight pretty quickly can lead to some of that skin laxity, right?
Absolutely. I mean, with sort of this newfound thought of taking back health and wellness, GLP-1s being at the center of that, we are seeing weight come off very quickly, which leads to skin laxity problems. So I think it's super important for patients to get in with a board-certified plastic surgeon to evaluate them anatomically to see if these procedures are right for them.
How can people arrange a consultation, get in touch with y'all?
Patients most commonly find us on social media, on Instagram at Austin Face and Body, and then our website is austinfaceandbody.com.
Sounds good to me. Doctors, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Learn more at austinfaceandbody.com. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Austin Face and Body. We have a lot of fun here on Studio 512. If you missed any of our great segments, be sure to check out our website where we like to post the fun things we do. Our feed covers content like arts and entertainment, food and drink, fashion and beauty, home and garden, stuff for kids and pets, as well as information from area experts. In addition, you can check out web-exclusive content that you can only find on Studio512TV.com. We also love to post behind-the-scenes funny moments, outfit inspirations, and more on social media. Find us by searching for Studio 512 on your favorite platform. You don't want to miss a single post. Be sure to follow us, check out our website, and watch us every weekday at 11 a.m. right here on CW Austin. Content segments during Studio 512 were paid for by Rosedale Acupuncture and Wellness, Sherwood Forest Fair, and Austin Face and Body.